Good morning, welcome to Morning Outlook. This is Kim speaking on Friday, the 9th of August. So, what have we got in store today? Firstly, let's just look at the potential news events that could affect things, which is not a great deal here. It's just refreshing this. We've got a bit of, well, we've had the Chinese data. It should have been out already. Let's just refresh this. Here we go. It's better. So the Chinese data came out, inflation slightly higher than expected there. Produces price index slightly fractionally lower, but anyway, what we got today is we got the Canadian non-farms effectively coming out 1:30 this afternoon, and that is probably pretty much it. In fact, if I go to this big list here, which includes everything in the kitchen sink, we've already had all the early data out. We've got a bit of Italian inflation there at 9 o'clock. That's not going to move the euro too much, I'll warn you now. Famous last words. But we've got just literally the Canadian stuff there. There's not even a speaker mentioned. They're all on holiday, sitting there on the beaches. Anyway, I nearly broke into a bit of a song then, but just lucky I didn't. Right. Let's look at the markets then, starting off looking at euro dollar, and well, yesterday summed yesterday up really well there on that last bar there. A bit of a doji. It went up, it went down, it went down, it went up. Let's have a look there. So there we go. It went down, coming back up again, suggesting that we've potentially got a little bit more upside here. One thing that happened yesterday was the US employment data came out on the 3rd, which is a weekly data. It shows the unemployment data actually, and it was there was less unemployment than expected. So that gave the markets a little bit kicker, just as they're getting really jittery about a recession, etc. Realistically, we're going to see this a lot. I think where it sits at the moment, there'll still be quite a lot of pressure on the Feds to start cutting rates a bit, maybe a bit quicker or more frequently. Okay. Anyway, the euro dollar here not really doing too much, but it is starting to show a bit of a pickup here on this hourly. It's a bit early this morning. The R1 is not too far away. Would be a bit of a target, but I'd wait post 8 o'clock anyway. I'd possibly miss this one, to be fair, because if it goes too close after 8 o'clock, I'll just let it be, because they do fizzle out sometimes. Any move before 8:15 tends to be a bit dodgy in my book. Okay, moving to the pound dollar. This is looking like we've got well, we certainly got a key reversal bar in there yesterday, completely engulfing the previous. We had some divergence there on those double bottoms. It's triggered the buy point if you were trading that divergence there between the high between the two lows. It's triggered that, heading upwards back towards its monthly pivot there potentially. Just running into its 4-hourly 50 as I'm looking at it at the moment. It as much as, well, yep, it could carry on nicely and shovel up there, or shove up there even. Don't know what the shovel's got anything to do with. You've still got to come back and look at this 4-hourly, and structurally it hasn't changed too much on this time frame. Lower time frames, maybe it's showing the signs of perhaps more strength to come through, but this is still very much in a downtrend. It's still below its 50, or just on its 50 as we're looking at it there. Yep, it may break through. There was actually another trend line I'd drawn here. If I extend that to from where it was, and you see on the nearer downtrend, it's still in the downtrend here. Higher lows, has it done anywhere? It's done this almost arguable little higher low, certainly a little higher low there. So yes, it has, and as I say, the structure changed more on the lower time frames than it has on the upper time frames at the moment, but it is showing signs of potential for more upside. The US dollar yen US dollar yen. I was looking to short this yesterday, hence you can see those lines on the chart there, but it didn't come into play for now. In fact, it might be off. I've just redrew this trend line this morning. I was looking for a break below these lows here to see if we could get a bit of continuation, but at the moment it looks like this is on for more upside. And I say at the moment because things change quite quickly post 8 o'clock, but at the moment I was, as I say, looking for the breakdown here with about 200 pips stop just to see it okay, but well, it went through what would have been my stop there without triggering a trade, which was good. It was about 50 pips away at the time when I set this up, so this is more of a swing to position trade. We'll see how it goes. It's got potential on the downside, but I think the Bank of Japan managed to kick themselves yesterday in the morning there when they mentioned perhaps we should hold back a little bit, just as they're getting going and everyone's getting a bit more bullish on their currency, which is what they wanted. They shot themselves in the foot anyway. Right, so this at the moment it is, if anything, bouncing up, and you see it coming off its daily pivot here. It could run up into its R1 for sure. We'll see how it develops, but I'm sitting there patiently to see if it does roll over. If it starts rolling over, I just want to be in something a little bit more down to these lows and possibly beyond. When you look at the bigger picture, it could, there's potential, and with rates cuts coming in the US, that's not off the cards. And as the rate cuts come, we generally see more unwinding of carry trades and more weakness to the US dollar against the yen. So that's what I'm looking for. The Australian dollar just gone on to the underside, just touching its monthly pivot here. We'll see if we get any reaction to this. It's done better than I expected it to do, really, with the sentiment that's sitting there. The sentiment, big money sentiment, is still quite bearish, but who knows, it might change a little bit. I was talking about the high frequency. Well, the frequency's actually eased off a little bit here on these movements. So you see it better where it has quite big retracements. In fact, that one nearly took out the bottom there. But yesterday it just consolidated, pushed up. It has got an untouched daily pivot today, which could be a draw at some stage. If it can't break through and continue through to the R1 and beyond, it could be a target. We'll see how things measure, but it is now above its quarterly pivot, so it's back into a more, on the bigger scale of things, it's a bit more positive for now. Okay, right, that's the Aussie, and I haven't got a trade on it at the moment. US dollar CAD, this is one that's got possibly a bit more scope on the short side. Was looking yesterday and left it, but it's looking like it's got something more coming through here. So yesterday I'm glad I left it because it pushed back up there, but now it's got this little lower high confirming through. It's already down to its S1. I'll see what materializes here, but I quite like the potential of the further downside here. The pivots are so pinched we can't take too much notice of them, or we can, but we've got this quarterly pivot sitting right the way back down here, and I think it might be time for it to come back to it. Hasn't hit it for quite some time. Could be time to start drilling down towards it. I'd rather this be on a Monday than a Friday, to be fair though. I just like, if I'm going to enter something on a swing, I like to get a bit of a day or two behind my belt beforehand. Right, dollar, New Zealand dollar, US dollar. Again, following the Australian progress here, it's lagging in some respects, but it's as to be expected. The sentiment was pretty weak on it, but it all seems to be changing. But well, against the dollar at least, picking up again there yesterday, swinging around. Do I trust it? Not really. Don't overly like what I'm seeing here. It did break yesterday. It did break the previous lows there. Now it's a bit of an iffy signal. Yes, it might have just been an ABC type correction in a bigger move, of course, but looks very iffy to me. And if I get an opportunity, it might be into the quarterly pivot. I'll look for the shorts off that again. Nothing's really changed positively on the New Zealand dollar, and yet obviously it's more weakness here that we're looking at against the weaker US dollar. Talking about the weaker US dollar, it's not so weak against the Swissy. Pushing up here, we just into we got to the weekly pivot at last. Now though, it's a question of how it reacts to this. It's done its radiation session and barely had anything in the way of significant reaction. In fact, maybe if it breaks that weekly pivot, we could see further upside. Again, Friday, the price action on the Friday is not the best for me if I was reacting to this, because obviously that weekly pivot disappears next week. We'll get a slightly lower one, so we'll get something below us, but yeah, not looking. I'm not enticed into that. Right. Yesterday I was in the pound CAD short. Well, that eventually, I love pivots until it provides support for a short I'm in, and it just found the pivot there, and it decided that was that. We also had a bit of a 4-hourly 500 there, yep, coming into play as possibly a bit of confluence. But unfortunately, it done quite well. It started moving from this little bear flag, but this one's failed for now. But I managed to get out at break even. I tracked the stop down as it was pushing on onwards and looking like it had a chance of hitting target. But for now, it's turned the corner. The pound seems to have turned the corner at least and got stronger against the US dollar. It is against the CAD here for now. How's it performing against? Yeah, it's performing better against the euro as well. So a bit of a reversal day there, key reversal day actually, yesterday, and quite a double top and everything else. We could see this coming off some more yet on this euro pound. Actually, that might be something that, although it's in a bit of no man's land at the moment, we could see a continuation through on this. Right, I'm afraid it's not a great deal more there that is worth looking at the moment. I should go through the other majors in a short while. Let's just have a look at the price of gold. Gold yesterday managed to lift up there, but it's only lifted as far as its weekly pivot. It's reacted to that again. It looks like a break back above that would be more bullish. I mean, the thing is, it's a bit rangy where it's sitting at the moment, which makes it a little bit more difficult. But you can see on the shorter time frame, it's got higher lows kicking through here, so it's got the potential. It's just a reaction if it can get back above there for the long side. It wouldn't really. Maybe the short side's got it in terms of we might just see a range appear between them, but this weekly pivot disappears next week, and we'll be left with no resistance. Oil up a bit this morning, but well, up a bit yesterday. Higher low coming through, bit of structural change again. I'd like to see it above the trend line to see a proper trend change, but it is putting in some more positive signs on the lower time frames, intermediate time frames here. Lower time frame, higher lows coming off. Nice bounce off its pivot yesterday. Again, that was later in the morning there. We'll see what it does today, whether it can do something similar, but I'm not really looking to trade it until the afternoon anyway. But yep, it is picking up, and for me it's okay to be buying this if we get the right signals. Equity markets, S&Ps here, solid old day yesterday, almost a key reversal, bullish engulfing in terms of the bodies, but looking a little bit tight there. Now it is back above its quarterly pivot here. Whether it's really got the legs to do something more, we'll see. It's certainly slowed down here on the lower time frames. You'll see the consolidation easier on into. We're actually now using that quarterly pivot as a support level. Not massively convincing. We've got the pivot itself below. Let's just get rid of this, by the way. Popped down there yesterday, never came into play really, just walked out sideways. We'll see how things shape up today, but yeah, I don't overly like this. It's too fragile at the moment, and that we could still be seeing further downside. The US tech or Nasdaq, same picture, and we're seeing that. You'll see the Dow not too dissimilar either. In fact, it's off a little bit this morning, but the same picture right the way through the three US markets there. The DAX, quick look at the DAX. What are you up to? Similarish picture. Just looking a little bit softer. It has got the higher lows in there on the intermediate time frame, but just got a bit more of a roll off coming through here at the moment on the hourlies. Not massively convincing. It has got higher lows through it, but we'll see how it develops this morning. Maybe a bounce off the daily pivot. If we get a reaction onto that daily pivot, would be a reasonable move. And finally the FTSE. FTSE not really doing too much. Similar pitch to the rest of the markets here. So back above its quarterly pivot, which is more positive. Bit messy as well. Again, one that's rolling back at the moment. Again, it's got its daily pivot untouched just below. That could be a near-term target. We'll see how it reacts off that. Okay, so once again, it seems like Groundhog Day. There isn't a great deal of action happening at the moment. They're looking at the euro to pound. They might continue up today. Maybe opportunities. Let's just see. I don't want to jump into the euro too early, but maybe this is the opportunity. Right, I'll leave you there and wish you a great day's trading, and catch you in the morrow. No, I won't. I'll catch you on Monday. Bye for now.